I don't know how seriously fans of Dungeons and Dragons should really take this, but bear in mind it is Elon Musk saying this, the guy who was sort of joked initially about buying Twitter and then, bought it, and well, we can all see the hellscape Twitter has now become. The burning dumpster fire of the internet award definitely goes to Twitter in any case or event. And I think a lot of us are very worried about, what would happen should someone like Elon Musk buy not D&D, but Hasbro, the parent company that, of course, owns Dungeons and Dragons. So this is what he's talking about buying, or at least joked about buying. Again, how serious or not he is about it, we don't know. But bear in mind, no one really thought he was serious about buying Twitter until he did. So, yeah. This does bring up a couple of certain issues. And I do share a lot of people's fear that, Elon Musk getting involved in this type of industry, and in something that he never had anything to do with, where we've seen with Twitter, where again, he had nothing to do with social media companies. He came in, bought the company, and tanked it. Almost immediately tanked like the entire company. And this is what people are sort of worried about, because D&D sort of comes under the umbrella of Wizards of the Coast, and then Wizards of the Coast, of course, owned by Hasbro. So it's sort of then what could then potentially happen? Does D&D end up crashing? Now, of course, at the end of the day, if you are someone who plays, tabletop RPGs, not the biggest loss in the world. We'll probably all go play Pathfinder again, like we did during 4th edition. But that's ultimately what potentially would probably happen. But again, there are other games out there that also are, pretty good as well. So again, it would be, I think, a very big monumental loss. But what would happen, of course, is then what would come after. Because remember, Elon Musk would then own D&D. And remember that there was the whole big brouhaha about Wizards changing the open games license and what that could potentially mean for the community. And if you haven't seen what's been going on Twitter, and if you don't think Elon Musk would just go ahead and try and monetize like people making third-party content for D&D, oh, he absolutely would go ahead with that. He would push ahead with that with absolute glee. So we could pretty much say goodbye to all the open gaming licenses for D&D. Like, that would be it. Permanently gone. No more third-party D&D content. Or if you wanted to do it, Elon Musk would charge you, probably quite a pretty penny to be able to sort of play in that world. And this where it comes into the world of rights holding, because there's a lot of examples out there of companies that have IPs that just sit on them and do nothing with them. And we'll get in that into a bit. But remember, this doesn't just threaten things like D&D. There's a lot of Transformers fans out there that have started talking about this. There's if you look on Reddit at the r/Transformers, it's I think it's r/Cybertron, I think it is, the Transformers Discord Reddit. There is a big thread about people who are Transformers fans worried about Elon Musk buying Hasbro. They are worried that if he bought Hasbro, that he would just order the stopping of any more Transformers toys. And trust me, if there's one thing that you've ever looked into on that subreddit, those Transformers fans love buying new Transformers merchandise and new Transformers. But that is something I think they should probably be quite worried about. But not only them, Hasbro's big things that they own, of course, Wizards of the Coast. That would include Magic the Gathering. don't think Magic the Gathering fans might be too enthralled if Elon starts meddling in their card game either. But then again, MGT Magic the Gathering has been going through a lot of pain over the past couple of years. So maybe, you know, if Elon Musk does buy it, well, maybe Elon Musk will once again be something that ends Magic the Gathering. Who knows? Maybe it could happen. Not only that, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Beyblade, I think Hasbro are something else in on that. But there's a ton of IP and properties that like Hasbro own that he could just sit on and just do nothing. And think of all like the characters that also Elon Musk would then own. So Dritz Do'Urden, one of probably the most you know, I would say famous characters, probably in like the D&D franchise. No more Dritz books. Yeah, because Elon Musk owns D&D. He owns by extension potentially that character. And this is where you get these problems of companies that sit on these rights forever almost and never do a thing with them. So a good example, if anyone ever played this game, Metal Arms Glitch in the System, I actually have a copy of it. Very, very good game. But the guy who came up with it has been for years trying to get the rights back so that he can go and, you know, make another game or even, you know, expand the universe into a comic book, but he can't do it because the rights for that game are owned, I think, by Activision. And I think now EA. They haven't made a Metal Arms Glitch in the System game in I don't know how long. They've never done anything with a franchise. So it just sits there on the shelf and they just squat on it. And it's not just things like that. If people remember way back in like the early 90s, there was a Hanna-Barbera production just before they went under called Pirates of Dark Water. And the guy who created Pirates of Dark Water also has been trying and reclaim the rights for Pirates of Dark Water because he wants to try do like a Kickstarter revival. He wants to sort of, you know, go use those characters and that franchise to sort of, you know, make something from that franchise. He wants to sort of go and play in that universe again, but he can't because I think it's Warner Brothers, I think, that own the IP rights. I think it's them who own it. I'm not again 100% sure, but yeah, this is the big problem, and I think this is the big thing that fans should be worried about. That if Elon Musk ends up tanking, you know, D&D, all these franchises could then end up being by him, being, well, you know, just sat on by him, and he doesn't care. He'll just sit on those franchise rights. Oh, and if anyone wants to buy them, well, you know, it's going to cost you a very pretty penny. So is it then worth companies going to buy, you know, the rights to D&D again to make a new edition when it's going to cost them who knows how much just to buy the rights again from Elon Musk, even though maybe he tanked, you know, the whole brand and the company, and then what, you know? It is worrying, but that's the problem I mainly want to sort of point out here, the fact that those rights could just be sat on. That if Elon Musk does just buy Hasbro, tank the company, well, as we've seen with Twitter, not doing too well. But if he does do that, then what happens to those rights? Does he sell them off? Does he just sit on them? Who knows? Maybe he will just sit on them. It is highly likely he will just sit on the rights. And that is worrying for a ton of different franchises. And you see a ton of different communities out there at the moment worrying, is he actually serious about this? I don't know. Maybe it was just a joke, but hey, he joked about buying Twitter, and here we are today. So Who knows? But again, worrying times for a lot of people in a lot of different fandoms, because they're now worried that Elon Musk is going to come and buy their thing, and then, well, and then what happens to those rights? Maybe he just sits on them. Who knows? But as always, let me know what you think down below as well. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.